How dare you? Let go.
أهلا، كيف هي أحوالكم؟ Welcome to Learn Arabic Online with Lubna Dumayan. Learning a new language is a condition of discovering a new way of thinking. And feeling lost in knowledge is a human condition. I am only attempting to provide the conditions in which you can learn by drawing a simple and colorful picture of this tongue. Acquiring information may be your condition, but mine is sharing and teaching. Arabic, as any other matter, manifests its conditions by means of conditional sentences. The primary condition for forming conditional sentences is the use of the conditional particles, which is a grammar condition for students to be cognizant of. The choice of conditional constructions and particles in Arabic depends on the kinds of conditions involved. It is governed by whether or not there is a real condition involving possibility that may become reality when it's met, and whether the hypothetical situation is possible or impossible, as in the case of a past hypothesis when it's too late for the condition to be met. For probable conditions, we use in and إذا, as we have learned in the previous lesson. For improbable or impossible conditional sentences, we use لو for conditions that are unlikely to be fulfilled or incapable of being fulfilled, like imaginative conditions, hypothetical or impossible events. These three particles are equivalent to the English conjunction if. The linguistic structure of a conditional sentence consists of two parts: the condition and the consequence. The result will be realized only if the condition is executed previously. For the improbable conditional sentence, where the condition is not expected to be satisfied, since it conveys hypothetical situations or wishful thinking, not likely or hardly to materialize, the particle لو is employed expressing dreams, unreal circumstances, and conditions that are unlikely to happen. In other words, the condition specified in the clause is not actual, truly existing, but is a condition that is currently being imagined, that is supposed not to take place. It indicates the discontent of the outcome of the action. because of the non-fulfillment of the condition. But in theory, this condition is possible to fulfill, as in لو كنت غنيا لانتقلت إلى قصر كبير. The condition لو كنت غنيا. كنت, the verb كان conjugated in the perfect first person singular أنا. If I were rich, غنيا, rich, I would move out to a big place. So the result is انتقلت إلى قصر كبير. The verb انتقل forms 7 sound. It means to move from one place to another. So to change position or place. So لن انتقلت إلى قصر كبير. قصر, palace, كبير, big. So this conditional sentence implies an improbable wishful thinking. Very unlikely or impossible to happen in your dreams, maybe. And the particle la is usually, though optional, used to introduce the result clause. So we have that لن تقلت, or you can say لو كنت غنيا انتقلت إلى قصر كبير, or لن انتقلت إلى قصر كبير. So if you detect the lamb, don't panic. لو كنت أعرف عن الموضوع, our conditional sentence, لكتبت مقالة عنه. So the result clause كتبت مقالة عنه, and we have that لا, لكتبت. So if I knew about this topic, I would write an article about it. So the action of writing could happen if the present situation were different, which is being knowledgeable about the topic. But I don't really plan to learn anything about this topic. So the result is not going to come into being. I could say لو عرفت, the verb عرف in the imperfect first person singular, لو عرفت, or لو كنت أعرف. So the verb كان here may be considered as an auxiliary, conjugated in the past with the subject that we have used in the conjugated verb. It has to match because it's the same person, but the verb will be conjugated in the imperfect indicative. لو كنت أعرف, if I knew. This is a form of a past tense. كنت أعرف or عرفت. So the verb كان in the imperfect plus the imperfect of the verb, the conjugated verb in the imperfect indicative, or just the perfect. So if I knew about this topic, I would write an article about it. عنه. الموضوع is a singular masculine noun. So عنه, عن, about it, and that who is referring to الموضوع. لو كان عنده مال كثير لا سافر إلى اليابان. If he had a lot of money, he would travel to Japan. So with the construction عند plus object pronoun stand for the verb to have in English. Alright? So عندي, for example, عندي means I have. عندي. This ya is referring to the first person singular. My possession, in my possession. عندي, I have. عنده, he has. But when you introduce the verb كان in the perfect third person singular, كان, this is impersonal. So it will be in the third person singular. هو, he. كان عندي, I had, is to refer to the verb have in the perfect. كان عندي, I had. كان عنده, he had. So لو كان عنده مال كثير. When I say عندي, عنده مال. عنده مال. Actually, the subject is مال, even if it comes after. So with this construction, the predicate comes before. It precedes the subject. And since مال is the noun of كان, because you know كان has a noun and a predicate, and its noun has to be in the nominative. So مال is in the nominative with the sign of two dammas, because it is indefinite, مال. And the definite noun of مال المال. Alright? So لو كان عنده مال كثير, if he had a lot of money, لا, introducing the result clause, سافر إلى اليابان, he would travel to Japan. The scenario is that I know that he wants badly to go visit Japan. And I know very well he can't afford this trip. And I think it is very unlikely for him to travel to this country in the near future. Unless something out of the blue happens, if he wins a lottery, so he may realize his dream. But for now, in reality, it seems impossible. لو أني أعرف عنه شيئا لأخبرتك. So لو أني أعرف, you remember the particle أن that stands for that follows verbs like I know that, أعرف أن, I heard that, سمعت أن, etc. So when لو precedes this expression أعرف أن, that أن will precede the verb, and we will have to attach the object pronoun referring to the subject of the conjugated verb. So here we have أعرف, means that we are referring to the first person singular, me, أنا. And here أعرف is in the imperfect indicative with the sign of ضمة in its end. أعرف, I know. لو أني أعرف So we have أنا plus the ya, referring to the first person singular, أنا. And since E mostly or always has to be preceded by a kasra for a smoother pronunciation, so that fatha of أن will turn to أني. But here لو أني أعرف that أني is considered as an intensifier. It's for emphasis. لو أني أعرف. It doesn't mean that, like when it is followed, when it is preceded by a verb. Okay? Its function changes here. So لو أني أعرف, if I knew. لو أني أعرف عنه, عرف عن, to know about. لو أعرف عنه شيئا, if I knew anything, شيئا, anything about him, شيئا is the object of أعرف. That's why it is in the accusative with double فتحة, because it is indefinite. لا أخبرتك. So أخبر means to tell, to inform. And we have that لا plus أخبر in the perfect first person singular أنا, and ka, the object ka, is referring to you, second person singular masculine. لا أخبرتك, or لو أني أعرف شيئا عنه أخبرتك. If I knew anything about him, I would tell you. And see that la is not even translated in English. But I have no information about him. Thus, I have nothing to tell you to satisfy your curiosity. Alright? Note that the verb in the conditional clause is usually in the perfective form and rarely in the imperfect. However, the particle لو does not require the jussive mood ending on the present imperfective verbs following it. It's not like in. With in, the imperfect has to be in the jussive with the sign of sukun or with the omission of the nun. But here you will just figure out that we are using just the imperfect indicative. Okay? So the verb in the result clause, the apodosis, has to be in the perfect, associated with the particle lam, or maybe not. Your choice. لو أملك شركة لوظفته. If I owned, ملك, to possess, to own. If I owned a company, I would employ him or I would hire him. Since the situation is unreal, we have to use type 2 conditional, referring to a hypothetical condition and its probable result. Even though the Arabic conditional verb is in the imperfect. لو أملك it is in the imperfect indicative, conjugated in the first person singular. أنا, I, أملك, with the sign of Dhamma in its end. If I owned a company, I would employ him. The conditional parts can be conveyed with a nominal sentence, as seen in the following examples. So instead of saying لو أملك here, I will add the subject pronoun. It will be explicit. لو أنا أملك. Because in the previous sentence, it was implicit. I just said أملك. Because normally, it would be redundant. But here, with a nominal sentence example, I am going to be repetitive and add the subject pronoun explicitly. لو أنا أملك لو أنا أملك شركة لوظفته وظف to hire to employ and who referring to him. So our result clause here is وظفته and we have that لا وظفته. If I owned a company, I would employ him. And it is translated the same way. You add the أنا or not. Doesn't matter. لو أنا مدير شركة لوظفته. If I were a manager of a company, مدير شركة إضافة, first term, second term. A manager of a company, مدير شركة لوظفته. For the impossible conditional sentence, where the condition is too late to be met, forget about it, it's too late, is also expressed by means of the particle لو. It refers to situations in the past. An action could have happened if a certain condition could have been fulfilled. So we just imagine لو درست قبل الامتحان لنجحت. So we have our conditional clause لو درست قبل الامتحان, and that لا is actually guiding you. It is marking the result clause. It is facilitating for you the task of detecting the consequence. لا نجحت. It's like a comma. If you had studied before the exam, درست قبل الامتحان. قبل الامتحان before قبل the exam. الامتحاني. And الامتحاني has to be in the genitive because of the preposition قبل. So we have إي الامتحاني. لنجحت. So we have لو plus perfect plus perfect. If you had studied before the exam, you would have passed. So you didn't study. So what did you expect? The impossible, a miracle? Of course, an obvious failure. لو وجدت عنوانها لأرسلت إليها دعوة. If I had found her address, I would have sent to her an invitation. So لو وجدت, وجد, to find, in the perfect first person singular أنا. عنوانها, عنوان, address, ها, referring to her address. لا أرسلت, أرسل, to send. أرسل إلى, to send to something to someone. إليها, ها, again referring to her, another resumptive pronoun. إليها دعوة, an invitation. So if I had found her address, I would have sent to her an invitation. I was willing to send an invitation to her, but I didn't. because I couldn't find her address. So in the end, I didn't send her an invitation. So because the condition was unable to be fulfilled, the result cannot exist, right? لو اتصلت بي اتصل بي. اتصل is construed with the preposition be to contact someone. لو اتصلت بي لساعدتها or ساعدتها. If she had contacted me, me, I would have helped her. لساعدتها, ساعد, to help, and her referring to her. So, but she didn't contact me. So I couldn't help her. And now it's too late. The condition and its results cannot exist. It's over. While the usage of the particle la is not mandatory, especially when the result clause is introduced by the negative particle ma, not, negating the perfect and nominal sentences, it is not acceptable when the result clause is introduced by the negative particle lam, did not, followed by the adjective. For example, لو خرجتم مبكرا لما وصلتم متأخرا. So here the conditional clause is لو خرجتم مبكرا. The verb خرج in the perfect second person plural masculine. أنتم, you. لو خرجتم مبكرا. مبكرا is an adverb of time, early. لما وصلتم متأخرا. وصل, to arrive. متأخرا, late. مبكرا, early. متأخرا, late. And they are in the accusative. Mostly the adverbs of time will be in the accusative with the sign of double فتحة. So لو خرجتم مبكرا, if you had left early, you wouldn't have arrived late. Or لو خرجتم مبكرا لم تصلوا متأخرا, but not للم تصلوا متأخرا. We can say that, it's so hard to say. للم, just لم. There is no double لم. لم تصلوا, and here وصل is in the imperfect adjective because of the negative particle لم. لم is always followed by the imperfect adjective, and the sign is the omission of the noon because it is one of the 5 verbs, remember? And we have a replacement. We have that alif, an unvocalized alif, instead of the noon. تصلوا متأخرا. And these two sentences are translated the same way. If you had left early, you wouldn't have arrived late. لو كنا قد أسرعنا لما فاتتنا الحافلة. So let's break down the sentence. Where is our condition? لو كنا قد أسرعنا. أسرع, to hurry up, in the perfect. But what about كنا قد? This is another form to express the perfect. So you may have the verb كان, considered as an auxiliary, conjugated in the imperfect, and of course he has to share the same subjects of the following conjugated verb. So أسرعنا is conjugated with the subject pronoun نحن, we, first person plural. So كنا, so كان in the perfect, كنا. That's قد is a particle preceding a past tense verb and imparting a, for example, a past perfect, like we have here. Past perfect is another form of perfect in English. We have too many forms to express the past tense in English. So do we, in Arabic, كان in the perfect plus قد plus the verb in the perfect. And كان and that verb has to share, of course, the same subjects. So لو كنا قد أسرعنا, if we had hurried up. لما or ما, فاتتنا, فات, to miss. Here is in the perfect. Again, نحن, we. We wouldn't have missed our bus or the bus. لما فاتتنا, فاتتنا الحافلة. الحافلة is the subject of فات. فاتتنا الحافلة. And na is the object of فات. So الحافلة فاتتنا. If we bring the subject to its original place, we say الحافلة فاتتنا. Okay? That's confusing a little bit. So we wouldn't have missed the bus, الحافلة. لو لم تكذب. Here we are negating the conditional verb كذب, to lie. لو لم تكذب, followed by the adjective with the sign of سكون. أنت, second person, singular masculine. لو لم تكذب علي. So كذب على, to lie to someone. كذب على. And the ya is referring to me, first person. So we have على ending with a shortened alif, and that shortened alif merged with the ya, the suffix pronoun ya, referring to me, to have ya, a stressed ya, علي. من قبل. من قبل here means before. And what is funny about من قبل, so we have two prepositions. We have min means from. قبل means before. But من قبل together means before. There is such an expression. And grammarians rely most of the rules on the Holy Quran. So there is such an expression. And قبل here has that dhamma. It is in the nominative, even though it is preceded by a preposition min, which is supposed to put whatever comes after into genitive. But here there is an exception. من قبل, before. لا صدقتك. لا صدقتك. The verb صدق, to believe. First person, singular أنا, and ka, the object ka, the suffix pronoun ka, referring to you, second person, singular. لا صدقتك. So if you hadn't lied to me before, لو لم تكذب علي من قبل, I would have believed you. I would have believed you. لا صدقتك. صدق, to believe. Believed you. ka. لو لم أكن مشغولا في أثناء زيارتي لمدينة واشنطن. لزرت كل المتاحف. For sure, it's like me. I'm visiting all the museums of the country. لو لم أكن مشغولا. So the verb كان here is in the jussive. Why? Because it is preceded by the negative particle لم. لو لم أكن مشغولا, مشغول busy. And مشغول here is the predicate of the verb كان. That's why it is in the accusative. And the noun is implicit. It's me. The subject is implicit. لو لم أكن مشغولا. If I weren't busy. في أثناء زيارتي. في أثناء or أثناء. It's up to you. You have two choices. Means during. Okay? So أثناء invariable with a fatha or في أثناء. So في أثناء. Here أثناء is in the genitive because of في. في أثناء زيارتي during my visit. زيارتي لي. So mostly when you say visiting somewhere زيارة لي and you cite the place. لمدينة Washington, city of Washington, or just to Washington. So that li stands for to Washington. Medina is means city. City لمدينة Washington. But in English you say just to Washington. لزرت, the verb زار, to visit. In the past. So the verb in the result clause is in the past. Mostly in the past and preceded by لا. لزرت أنا I كل المتاحف. كل المتاحف. So I would visit all the museums. With كل we have an إضافة, the genitive construction إضافة. So the second term is in the genitive كل المتاحف. And كل here is the object of زار. That's why it is in the accusative with the sign of فتحة. Parsing is very important in Arabic. That's why I give you some details about the reason of the sign in the end of these words. Okay? So كل المتاحف. If I weren't busy during my visit to Washington, I would visit all the museums. Be sure about that. So don't accompany me. You would get tired. لو عملت في الصيف لم تحتج إلى المال. So here our result clause starts with لم. So لا is not there. Alright? So لا disappears. They don't get along with each other. So if you had worked in the summer, لو عملت في الصيف, you would not have needed money. So you would not have needed money. لم تحتج, احتاج, to need. And here it is in the imperfect because of the presence of لم تحتج إلى المال. You wouldn't have needed money, المال. And المال is, we have just one kasra because it is definite with the definite article ال. Alright? لو كنت مكانها لما فعلت ذلك. لو كنت. Again, the verb كان here is in the perfect first person singular. If I were in your shoes. That's funny if you try to translate it word for word, So from English to Arabic, if I were in your shoes, that would be so funny. That's why it is important to know, along with learning grammar, you have to learn the idioms and the culture, some ideas about the culture. You have to. So if I were in your shoes, I would not have done that. لو كنت مكانها her place, normally. Like if I were you, or if I were in your place, with a literal translation. If I were in your place, or in English we say if I were in your shoes. لما فعلت ذلك. فعل to do, to perform something, to do an action. So I wouldn't have done that. ذلك, that. There is always some implication of regret with this type of conditional sentences. Here are some stanzas for you from a poem named A Message from Underwater. رسالة من, from, underwater, تحت الماء. تحت is a preposition. تحت means under. Underwater, تحت الماء. لو أني, see that أني is for emphasis, it's an intensifier. لو أني أعرف أن, so we have the intensifier أني before أعرف and أن after. But when it comes after, it means that. When it comes before, you don't even translate it at all. It is just an Arabic style. So you would ignore it during your translation to English. لو أني أعرف أن. So if I had known that. So لو أني, even sometimes we don't even say that. We just ignore it. لو أني أعرف أن الحب خطير جدا ما أحببت. If I had known love is very dangerous, I would not have loved. But it's too late. لو أني أعرف أن البحر عميق جدا ما أبحرت. If I had known that the sea was very deep, I wouldn't have sailed. But it's too late. I'm already in the middle of the sea. لو أني أعرف خاتمتي ما كنت بدأت. If I had known my end, I wouldn't have started. So let me repeat it again. لو أني أعرف أن الحب خطير جدا ما أحببت. Here the poet didn't add the lam to the result clause, since it is not mandatory. So لما أحببت, you could say that. Or instead of أني, you can say أنني, لو أنني. But here there is like a contraction. So لو أني أعرف أن البحر عميق جدا ما أبحرت. لو أني أعرف خاتمتي ما كنت بدأت. So here again we have, instead of saying ما بدأت, we have the verb كان in the perfect, and then بدأ to start in the perfect. Alright? So this is another form of perfect, of the perfect, of the past tense. So here, so the verb kana may be considered as an auxiliary, a verb conjugated the same way as its following verb, to translate one of the English perfective forms as the conditional perfect with this example. It may be past perfect, conditional perfect. So since the forms of the improbable and the impossible conditional sentences are identical, the meaning and context would help to distinguish between the two types, especially when it comes to translation. So when you would wonder which type of conditional should I use, the conjunction wa and the preposition hatta even are used with لو to mean even if. حتى لو ولو, even if. لن يسامحك ولو توسلت إليه. So لن negates the future, so it is followed by the imperfect subjunctive with the sign of فتحة. سامح, to forgive. So لن يسامحك in the imperfect subjunctive, third person singular هو, he, and ka is the object of the verb. ka, you, second person singular masculine. لن يسامحك, he will not forgive you. ولو, even if. ولو أو حتى لو, same thing. حتى لو ولو. توسلت إليه. So توسل إلى, توسل is construed with إلى, the preposition إلى, means to plead with or to beg. Even if you beg him, even if you plead with him, he's not gonna forgive you. The phrase لو سمحت, لو سمحت means if you will excuse me, or if you don't mind, or please. لو سمحت. سمح is to allow, to permit. لو سمحت. The particle لو is also used as a complementizer with the verbs ودّ. ودّ is to like, to love. Or تمنى. تمنى means to wish, to hope. In which case the uncertainty of the action or state is emphasized. أود لو تساعدني. ساعد, to help. In the imperfect indicative, second person singular masculine أنت, you. I would, أود لو, I would like or I would love you to help me. The me is the object of ساعد, me, referring to me. So help me, you help me. I would like you to help me. أود لو, I would like you to help me. أود لو تساعدني. أتمنى لو تكون بخير. So here the verb كان is in the imperfect indicative with the sign of dhamma in its end, referring to the second person singular masculine. So I hope, أتمنى لو, I hope. أتمنى لو تكون بخير. تكون بخير means you are fine. بخير, fine. You are is the verb كان in the imperfect. You are fine. I hope that you are fine, or I hope you are fine. So from the verb تمنى, it is form 5, final, weak, because it is ending with a shortened alif. Everyone needs a teacher, and this is a human condition. Learn how to love learning without condition. Then you may arrive to your destination. أراكم قريبا. مع السلامة.